My 16th birthday. That was around the time that my life completely changed. You see, for many years, I had been suffering from depression. There honestly wasn't anything too horrible in my life. I had a caring mother, a nice home, and all the video games I could ask for, but I still felt incomplete. There was always this void that could never be filled, or so I thought. One night while I was thoroughly studying the sunset, I was visited by a lanky, intimidating man in a trench coat. In any other circumstance, I would have tensed up due to my extreme social anxiety, but this was far from the case. He spoke quickly and concisely, and before I could even utter a reply, he was gone. In his single breath of a sentence, he said he knew the truth about my father and my true potential. Roughly a week later, I had my second encounter with him. He was walking on the street in front of my house. I leapt up as fast as I was physically capable of. I followed him for 10 or 15 minutes before he entered an abandoned boathouse off into the woods. I was a bit hesitant to continue, but my curiosity got the best of me. I tiptoed up to one of the windows and peeked inward. To my complete astonishment, I saw at least 30 other men in trench coats, most of them working on advanced-looking computers. I saw the man I had been following, and he signaled for me to come in. Feeling a bit embarrassed, I entered slowly. He then explained to me that my father was assassinated to suppress his life's work. "Why are you telling me this?" I questioned. "Because you have the right to know, and we have an open position as a clandestine operative." "When do I start?" He informed me that once he installed the tracking device behind my ear, I could start where my father left off. Over the course of the next 2 months, I buried myself in my work. I often skipped school and avoided the few friends that I had. I eventually received intel that left me galvanized. The elderly widow who lived across the street was working with the organization that killed my father. I knew what I had to do. That night, I waited until everyone was asleep. I snuck over to her house, making sure not to leave any evidence. Luckily, she forgot to lock her back door, and I easily made my way in. With my gloved hand, I covered her mouth and nose. She struggled momentarily, but barely put up a fight. I departed as stealthily as I entered. The next day, everything appeared normal, until my mother asked me to speak to a psychologist. I was anticipating questions about the death of our neighbor, but it was more questions about me and my hobbies. That was when I was diagnosed with schizophrenia.